There is a land shaped like a silver blade at the edge of the east, written in the blood of resistance and the ink of ethereal poetry. It is a nation that has spent 4 millennia proving that even the most relentless storm cannot uproot the heart of the bamboo.
Part 1. Echoes from the Past, and Part 2. Dawn and the Rise of the City-States. In the beginning, before the ink of recorded history, there was the myth of the dragon and the fairy. In the ethereal mists of the high mountains and the fertile embrace of the Red River Delta, the union of Lac Long Quan and Oko birthed 100 sons, the ancestors of the viet. This is the foundational memory of Vietnam, a people born of the water and the mountains, forever tied to the sacred rhythm of the land. In the silence of the Bronze Age, the Jongson drums began to pulse, their intricate patterns of birds and dancers reflecting a civilization that had already mastered the art of harmony and the complexity of the soul. These drums were not just instruments, they were the heartbeat of the Vân Lang and O Lac kingdoms, a testament to a people who saw themselves as the guardians of the rising sun. For nearly 1,000 years, this young identity was tested in the crucible of northern domination. It was a long, dark night of foreign rule, yet the spirit of the people remained untamed. Through the rebellion of the Trung sisters and the fierce defiance of Lady Trieu, the cry for independence was never silenced, proving that the identity of the Vietnamese lived in the language, the customs, and the unwavering will to be free. The dawn of true sovereignty finally broke upon the white-capped waves of the Bac Chang River in 938. Under the brilliant strategy of Ngo Quyen, the southern tide became a trap of iron-tipped stakes, shattering the imperial fleet and ending a millennium of captivity. This was the rebirth of the nation, the moment when the S-shaped land reclaimed its own destiny. From this triumph rose a succession of golden dynasties, the Jin, the Tianle, and the magnificent Li. It was the Li kings who moved the capital to Thong Long, the city of the soaring dragon, seeing in the bend of the river a future of eternal prosperity. This was a time of profound spiritual and cultural awakening. Buddhism flourished, and the Temple of Literature was raised as a sanctuary for the mind, where the principles of Confucian ethics were woven into the Vietnamese fabric. The nation was no longer a collection of tribes, but a sophisticated monarchy that defended its borders with iron, while cultivating its soul with the brush and the scroll. The Tran dynasty carried this legacy into a fire of existential survival. 3 times the Mongol hordes, the world-conquering giants of the steppes, descended upon the delta, and 3 times they were repelled by the unity of the Vietnamese people. This was the era of the Hao Ki Jonghe, a collective spirit of national pride that saw every citizen become a soldier. From the mountains to the sea, the land was a fortress. Following the Tran, the Lê dynasty refined the state into a masterpiece of administrative law and cultural expansion. Under Lê Thanh Tông, Vietnam reached a zenith of territorial power and intellectual rigor. The Nam Tien, or southward expansion, saw the Vietnamese identity flow like the Mekong, absorbing the influences of the Champa and Khmer civilizations into a unique, vibrant synthesis. It was a golden age of poetry and justice, where the verses of Nguyen Trai reminded the world that humanity and justice were the only true foundations of a lasting peace. Vietnam had become a regional giant, a land of jade citadels and emerald fields. a civilization that stood as a testament to the power of a people who refused to stay broken. Part 3, the Wars of Survival, and Part 4, Reflection and Legacy. The long stability of the imperial age was shattered in the 19th century by the arrival of the West. French colonial expansion turned the land of the dragon into our province of Indochina, a period of profound mourning where the sovereignty of the Nguyen kings was eroded by steam and steel. For nearly a century, the Vietnamese soul lived in a state of quiet, agonizing resistance. But beneath the surface of the colonial order, the fires of revolution were being stoked in the hearts of scholars and peasants alike. The struggle for independence in the 20th century was a maelstrom of unprecedented scale. From the victory at Dien Bien Phu that shocked the global empires to the long, heartbreaking decade of the Vietnam War, the land became the world's most brutal stage. It was a tragedy of brothers divided, of ancient jungles turned to ash, and of a population caught between the gears of the Cold War. Yet, through the bombs and the bitterness, the resilience of the common person, the mother in the rice field and the soldier in the trench, remained the singular, unyielding constant. In 1975, the long war finally ended and the S-shaped land was reunited, but the cost was a generation of trauma and a landscape in ruins. The decade that followed was a grueling war of literal survival against poverty and isolation. But in 1986, the nation chose a path of joy moi, renovation. Like the bamboo that bends in the storm but does not snap, Vietnam pivoted toward the future without abandoning its roots. The transformation has been nothing short of a miracle. From the ash of conflict, modern skylines have risen in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, fueled by a young, vibrant generation that looks toward the global horizon with ambition and pride. Vietnam has emerged as a beacon of economic growth and stability, a nation that has mastered the art of bamboo diplomacy, flexible, resilient, and deeply rooted in the soil of independence. It is a country that has forgiven the past but will never forget the price of its peace, acting as a bridge between cultures and a vital anchor in the Pacific. The legacy of Vietnam is a philosophy of the unbroken spirit. It is a culture that finds its truest strength in the water, fluid, persistent, and capable of wearing down even the hardest stone. To understand Vietnam is to understand the sacredness of the family altar and the communal spirit of the village pond. It is a legacy of poetry as a weapon and the rice grain as a symbol of life's continuity. Vietnam has taught the world that a nation is not defined by its tragedies, but by how it rises from them. It is a land of exquisite beauty, from the limestone towers of Ha Long Bay to the terraced emeralds of the Northern Highlands. But its most magnificent feature is the heart of its people. This is a civilization that has refined the art of endurance into a culture of grace, proving that no matter how many times the borders are tested, the soul of the dragon remains eternal. As Vietnam steps into the new millennium, it carries the wisdom of 4,000 years, a legacy of pride, a commitment to peace, and an unwavering belief in the light of the dawn.
History is a grand river, and Vietnam has always been its most resilient current. It is a land where the earth is rich with the dust of ancestors, and the air is phylums with the dreams of the youth. Vietnam stands today not as a memory of war, but as a monument to life. A nation that was erased from the map 1,000 times, only to be rewritten in even more brilliant colors. From the ancient bronze grums to the high-tech innovations of tomorrow, the story remains the same. A relentless love for the home. The horizon is wide. The spirit is as strong as the ancient bamboo, and the heart of Vietnam beats on, stronger and more beautiful than ever before. For in this land, the dragon does not just soar in myths. It lives in every soul that calls this sacred shape home.